Welcome to Chapter 4. Everyone has problems. Everyone that I know has some type of issue going on in their life that pulls us away from our goals, from our priorities, the things that we really want to do. This could be a really extremely demanding job. This could be a car won't start. This could be you get fired from your job. You could have weight gain, or you could have a really stressful relationship. You could drink too much. You could eat too much. You could be in debt. There's all kinds of issues that add up and cause so much daily stress. And it makes it really hard to plan for our future when we have all these things going on, especially when we want to start something new. It feels like we almost can't because we have these stressors going on. And the more that you think about these stressors and the more that you think about just your everyday life, the more overwhelmed you get. And I'm here to tell you that it's better to feel overwhelmed and deal with these issues sooner rather than later than sweep them under the rug, because sooner or later you're going to have to pick that rug up and all of those things are still going to be there. Now, I like to call the things that we sweep under the rug our bullshit. And everyone has bullshit in their lives. And bullshit comes in a lot of different ways and a lot of different forms. It could be consuming too much alcohol or drugs. It could be having an affair or your partner having an affair. It could be being overweight or not as fit as you think that you should be. It could be being in debt. It could be having a cluttered house or a house that you don't love anymore. It could be avoiding conversations that might ruffle someone's feathers and make it really challenging to navigate that relationship that you currently have. Now, when these things first happen in our life, typically what we do is we handle the situation with a meaningless coping mechanism. So what does that mean? So maybe you've had a stressful day. So you have a glass of wine or two. Maybe you feel really overwhelmed for some reason. So you have a bowl of ice cream or two. Maybe your partner is just being an ass and you have a fight with them. And so you confide in a coworker. And then then you confide in them a little bit more and a little bit more. Well, these things are seemingly meaningless coping mechanisms that can lead to addiction, they can lead to weight gain, they can lead to an affair, and they seemingly happen overnight and usually without warning. And these coping mechanisms quickly become habits that create more problems, and changing them can be hard, let's just say. Some people say that changing them is impossible, but I know that it is possible to change these things because I've done it in my life. And most people, and I've said this before, most people won't make a change until they hit rock bottom or they're forced to change. Now, change is hard, it's scary, it's messy, but I'm here to tell you that you can address these things and you can begin to create a life that you love. So one of the keys to changing these things and shifting them is to start small and to work your way up. Now, in all the 20 years that I've been coaching, well, actually over 20 years that I've been coaching people, the start small method works every single time, especially if you're committed to seeing rapid results in your life. So starting small is ultimately creating and doing a little tiny 1-degree shift in your life and in the areas that are overwhelming for you. And in doing this, you're actually going to be gaining more clarity about what you like, what you don't like. And because of that, you're going to gain more confidence so that you can start to tackle those bigger things in your life. So what are these small things that I'm talking about that you could really start out with? Well, the easiest thing, and this is the one that most people, actually like 99% of my clients have found, gives them that oomph that they need to start tackling everything in their life. And that is clutter. So today we're going to briefly look at the 5 types of clutter that you can begin clearing out so that you can see what a huge difference these things make by clearing them out in your life. And you're going to start to really recognize how much momentum this is bringing and building in your life. So the first type of clutter that's so easy to clear out is environmental clutter. Now, studies prove that when we look at clutter, when we see clutter, that actually spikes our cortisol and adrenaline levels in our body. Cortisol is stress hormone. So when you have extreme or high levels of cortisol, that leads to weight gain. It leads to possible stroke, possible heart attacks, especially if left unchecked. So you want to get the cortisol levels down. You want to get the stress levels down. The easiest way to do that is to clear out the clutter. So studies also have proven that we only use 20% of our items 80% of the time. So that theoretically means that we can get rid of 80% of the stuff that we have and more than likely not miss most of it. So when I started my business back in 1997, I started as a professional home organizer and coach. And when I decluttered people's homes and their environment, that was like absolutely life-changing for them. And that's actually one of the number one ways to feel less stressed is to declutter your immediate environment. And this is also going to help you gain confidence in tackling the other things in your life because you're not dealing with all of this extra cortisol and all the extra stress that actually comes with all of these extra things in your space. So to help you jumpstart this, because I know a lot of people are just like, well, I don't even know where to start when it comes to decluttering my house. I got you. I actually have a program that I'm gifting to you. It's a bonus for the 1 Degree Shift Tribe members. It's my Simplify 10-Day Declutter Extravaganza. And you can't say it without not singing it. But in this program, I actually teach you how to go through each main area of your home and declutter it systematically. And I actually have a 3-phase system that I teach you inside of this program. And it is so incredibly amazing. It's so freaking good. So I hope that you jump into the program and you start to declutter your space. You're gonna see massive momentum when you start to do this. So the second type of clutter is body clutter. And this one is so prevalent and prominent. So as energetic beings, we store information in our bodies. And as spiritual beings, our intuition talks to us, I believe, through bodily sensations and messages, like little aches and pains and tweaks and twinges and stuff like that. And so when we don't acknowledge what our body is telling us through the stored information, I truly believe that this is why we get these chronic aches and pains and disease within our bodies. So below this video, I've actually given you another resource. Below this video, to help you with this, I've given you 2 body scan meditations, one with instructions and one that is just the body scan. And this is going to help you identify the stored information that's within your body. And it's also going to help you learn how to clear this information, clear the energy in your body so that you can start to feel a shift energetically and physically in your body. So not just in your environment, but in your being as well. And it's going to help you tremendously. Now, the third type of clutter that we're going to look at today is mental and emotional clutter. This is all the things that go on in our mind, in our emotions, and life can be hard and really taxing. And there's a ton of resources out there to start the healing process for this type of clutter. So if you feel that you have unresolved issues from the past and that these issues keep interrupting your life and they keep disrupting maybe your relationships or your work life or whatever, I would highly recommend that you see a coach or a specialist or a therapist of some sort that specializes in the area and the issues that you face in your life. I've personally done talk therapy. I've done EMDR therapy, which is a very intense type of therapy. I've also done various types of shamanic therapy and, spiritual healings and all these other things. And each one of them I have reached for at various points in my life, and each one of them has helped me clear through the clutter, clear through the bullshit, clear through these issues in the past that I thought I would never get past. And through those therapies and through speaking with my coach and my therapist every single month, it has allowed me to truly feel that grace and feel calm about the decisions that I make and know that no matter what life throws at me, I know that I'm going to be okay. And I know that sometimes it's challenging to admit that you want to see a therapist or whatever, but every coach has a coach. Every healer has a healer. We're not meant to just do this on our own. It truly takes a village. So give yourself permission to admit that there are things that you don't know how to heal and that you don't know how to fix, and reach out to someone who really can specialize and does specialize and who really can support you in this type of healing and this type of decluttering, let's just say. So the fourth type of clutter is digital clutter and hoarding. Digital hoarding. So I want you to think about the apps that you have on your phone. Think about the photos, the text messages, the emails. I was curious about this. So I actually surveyed over 200 people on my list and in my community, and the average number of emails in people's inboxes is 10,000. I was like, what? So think about how much stress and anxiety that could cause you, seeing 10,000 or more emails, even 1,000 or even 100 in your inbox every time that you go in there. So digital hoarding and clutter is a big a problem as environmental clutter and hoarding, because it can cause as much stress as physical clutter. So today, go through your apps and delete the ones that you don't use. If deleting them freaks you out or makes you feel stressed out, create a folder in your phone and put all of the unused apps in that folder, and then put it on a screen that you don't see, and just notice what it feels like when you just have the apps that you use. So you're not sitting there searching and looking and whatever. Another thing is unsubscribe from the newsletters and the emails that you don't ever read and that you don't ever look at. Just click on subscribe or scroll all the way down to the bottom, click on subscribe. And if you do that every single day or every single week for a month, your inbox experience is going to be so much better, I promise you. Another thing that I personally do is an inbox zero. I do this every single week, and I absolutely clear out everything from my inbox. So I use Gmail, and Gmail has this fabulous feature called archive. So if you're afraid to delete something, just archive it. Get it out of your inbox. Now, there are some things that are for meeting notices. So I actually have a meeting invite or meeting notice folder. And I also have folders for various people that I know that I want to keep their emails, but I don't necessarily need to keep them in my inbox. So that's a fabulous way to be able to clear out your inbox and still save the email just in case you need it. So the last type of clutter that we're going to look at is daily clutter. And daily clutter is a big one. This comes from not having structure in your day. Now, to tackle this type of clutter, it's as simple as creating basic and simple routines in your life. Now, the only one that I'm going to share with you here, because I don't want to overwhelm you with too much information, is a PM or evening routine. This saves you so much mental capacity in the morning. If we make too many decisions throughout the day, we get what's called decision fatigue. And by the end of the day, you're just freaking burnt out. You're tapped out. You're like, I'm done. I am so tired. I can't do anymore. And so we end up making less and less wise decisions as the day goes on. And so if you can eliminate the decisions that you make in the morning by making them in the evening, you set yourself up for such a better day. And you can have a day where you're just like, oh my God, I just feel so good. And you feel so much more energized because you're not using all that mental capacity. So what does an evening routine look like? So you could spend 10 minutes just tidying up your house. And I love timers. I live by this sucker. So I set a timer and I do a 10-minute quick clean in my house every single day. I'll go around, I'll straighten pillows, put things away, maybe scrub a toilet or two. And I just commit to 10 minutes of just tidying things up. The next thing that I do is I look at the weather for the next day and I lay my clothes out for the next day. And that helps tremendously as well. If you have kids, you can do the same thing. You can be like, all right, what shirt do you want to wear? All right, what shorts or pants do you want to wear? What socks do you want to wear? What shoes do you want to wear? And you can help your kids pick out their clothes. And what happens is, again, you have this much smoother morning routine. So amazing. Another thing that I do is I prep all my breakfast stuff. I prep my coffee, my protein shake, any breakfast items, my supplements. And then I also look at what we're going to have for dinner the next day. And I pull out pans and pots and whatever so that I don't have to think about it when I'm, like through working for the day. So all of these are small things that you can do. And it literally takes maybe 30 minutes every night to prep this, but it literally saves you so much time in the morning because you don't have to think about what you're going to wear, what you're going to do for breakfast. Everything is all laid out so you really truly can go through your morning on autopilot and not have the stressors of not knowing what to wear and not knowing where your keys are. You've laid everything out the night before, and it just clears so much clutter in the morning from just doing that the night before. So, really give yourself permission to sample, try out this simple 30-minute nighttime routine. And I'm telling you, it's going to make for such a stress-free morning. So for a more in-depth look at all of these 5 types of clutter, please check out my book, Chapter 4. It's awesome. And, clearing these types of clutter is really going to help you bring so much more clarity, so much more courage, and so much more confidence in your life to tackle the big things, because these little things make the big things even more overwhelming. Okay? So a lot of the times this energetic clutter, this energetic bullshit, if you're constantly tripping over clutter, if you're constantly doing laundry, if you're constantly doing this, that, and everything else, it causes so much stress and so much bullshit that you feel overwhelmed just from your regular everyday things. It makes it hard and almost impossible to think about handling an addiction or handling a cheating partner or handling being in debt. And so when you can declutter what you have in your home, in your digital life, when you can declutter all the mental stuff that's going on, the bodily stuff that's going on, you're literally clearing the slate. So all of a sudden you feel more in alignment and more free and open and spacious to say, okay, you know what? I think I can actually now address this particular thing that's been bothering me, or this thing that I've been sweeping under the rug. So to help you get a quick win today, what I want you to do is I want you to commit to decluttering one space today in your home. And I want you to see and recognize the shift that you feel inside of your body. And notice how you feel like mentally when you see that space. You can even take before and after pictures and post it in our Facebook group and to be like, okay, this is before, boom, this is after. And then notice how you feel. And don't just organize, because if you reorganize and you don't declutter, you're just moving piles around, seriously. So another thing about clutter, this is the last thing I'm going to say, and then we're going to end this lesson. Clutter is just a museum of the shit that you thought would make you happy. It really is. Clutter is just a museum of shit that you thought would make you happy. So recognize that all that stuff that you're not using, that 80% of the stuff in your house that you're not using, it's okay to get rid of it. It's okay to declutter it and let go so that you can make room and make space for those things that really, truly lift you up. So go ahead and do that. And then when you're done with decluttering one space in your home, head on over to the next lesson. And remember, it only takes a small 1-degree shift to make magic happen and create a life that you're excited about.